I think it was the environment that I grew up in. I grew up outside of Philadelphia. I grew up on a farm when everyone in my school did not grow up on a farm. I went to a very large public school. We had around 700, 800 people in my graduating class alone. And we had really unique farm animals, and I was always working, always working. I was in art classes, I was taking theater classes. I was just inspired. My grandfather was a really large creative influence in my life. And my dad gave me a camera when I was young, 6, 7 years old, big VHS camera. And I was just making shorts before I knew I was making shorts. Before I was even 12 years old, I was making shorts with my sisters, my friends, whoever wanted to be in these stupid little films. And then it wasn't until senior year of high school when I went to fill an elective or a slot in my schedule with a video apps class. And I took the class, and as soon as I walked in the first day, it clicked. I was like, I've meant to do this my whole life. Yeah, it definitely is. Because like I said, like I was the only person at our school that was growing up on a farm. So I was kind of getting like the inner, like, I don't want to say inner city, but I was definitely getting like more urban vibes going to school mixed with like going home and consistently working rural vibes. So there's like a really vast difference. There's a lot of contrast that was in my life. And so that affected my directing style as I got older, and I started to learn how to direct from a point of view of contrast. So if I had like a character in a scene that wasn't doing what I wanted him to do, or, we needed more from them, when we cast his scene partner, I would be really, really, really poignant on the contrast and the chemistry between them. And that was camera movement down to production design, everything. So yeah, I think it's like drastically influenced my directing style, and how I command a set definitely comes from growing up in that area. Because outside of Philadelphia and inside of Philadelphia, the whole surrounding area, people are very, they're thick-skinned. And to be a director in the entertainment industry, especially to be a young one working in LA, because I did my first major feature at 22, 23 years old. And I was directing people who were twice my age, even some a little older than that. And I was very assertive and in control, and a lot of that came from where I grew up. More of both, more like a team. Growing up, I played a lot of sports, and a lot of times I was either an assistant captain or I was the captain. I was the captain of my rugby team all throughout college. So I learned how to talk to my filmmaking cast and crew like a team. And so when people would perform well, it was more of like a reward system. And when people aren't giving me what I know that I can get from them, I discovered other ways to get them there. I want to do things, I am going to do things differently. I love watching movies, I love going to the theaters and watching films, but I am like low-key kind of tired of seeing what I'm seeing over and over and over and over. And I like getting up out of bed ever since I was a little kid and feeling like I can do something different in the name of my passion. So what excites me is getting up and thinking about new story ideas, new concepts, new ways to structure scripts and tell stories. That's truly what excites me. And then everything falls underneath that. Who am I gonna work with? Cast, crew. How am I gonna do this? What's the medium? So I like to really think outside the box, but waking up in the morning and thinking about doing something different is what keeps me going. I think there's a lot of traditional structure that follows directing and filmmaking and the film industry today. A lot of people in the industry are very set on how you do things and how you make a film or put together a show. There's like one way to go about getting your actors and going through agents and following a certain process, and that's not the wrong way to go. In my opinion, there's really no specific path you need to take to make your projects come to life. And I think people get discouraged. I know for a fact when I work with certain people, or like in casting, casting director or associate producers, they're like, well, you know, this person wouldn't normally play this type of role, so they can't have it. And my perspective is like, you don't know, each person is different. Like, you should never just base, there's no rules to this. It's just too traditional. There's a lot of rules that get made, but it's an art form. At the end of the day, you really can try anything. And it's only crazy if it doesn't work. When I was younger and I was getting a chance to do my first big feature, and I was doing bigger music videos at the time too, older people and people who were paying or financing the projects were, you know, they're like somewhat concerned. I was young and I understood that at the time. So they're like, you know, you can do music videos really well. So when it comes to directing some of the sequences that pertain heavily to your music video background, like, we'll let you run with it. But when these dialogue scenes come up, you know, we want to be more involved and have more of a dialogue with you on how you're going to direct this scene. So when I was going through that process, I understood that, and I did. I worked with them and told them what I wanted to do and everything. I wasn't pushing people away in those settings.
Thank you for watching A Wise Way. Subscribe to stay updated, share to pass the knowledge, or view our other videos on the left.